Giving birth and being told you'll never see your babies again, and then waking up in a hospital room alone. 26 years later, 5 strangers walk into the same building, each carrying the same face and the same question. Why? Tell me, where are you listening from today? Take a breath and come with me into the story. The moment Dr. Elaine Matthews stepped into the hospital conference room, she knew this day would change everything. 5 identical faces turned to look at her, each with the same deep brown eyes that held equal parts hope and apprehension. These weren't just any patients. These were the Johnson quintuplets, born at Mercy General Hospital 26 years ago and abandoned the very same day. Have you ever wondered why a mother would leave not 1 but 5 babies behind? Dr. Matthews placed a thick medical file on the table. The answer isn't what you might think. The oldest by 7 minutes, Sheila Johnson leaned forward. Her fingers trembled slightly as they rested on the polished wood. We've spent our entire lives wondering. Every birthday, every milestone, knowing we were abandoned right after our diagnosis. That's what I need to talk to you about, Dr. Matthews said, her voice softening. Your diagnosis was only part of the story. The quintuplets exchanged glances. Despite being raised in separate foster homes across the city, they moved with an eerie synchronicity that came from sharing the same DNA. Only reconnected 3 years ago through a DNA ancestry service, they had quickly formed bonds that transcended their separated upbringings. The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and coffee, a combination that brought back distant memories for all 5 siblings. Each had spent considerable time in medical facilities throughout their lives, managing the same rare blood condition they all shared. Diamond black fan anemia, a disorder where the bone marrow fails to produce enough red blood cells. You were told your mother left because she couldn't handle 5 babies with a chronic illness, Dr. Matthews continued, opening the file. But I've discovered documents suggesting something else entirely, something that involves all of you, this hospital, and a financial decision made 26 years ago. Hook, what shocking secret will unravel next? Joyce, the most outspoken of the 5, crossed her arms. What financial decision? We were sick babies. What could possibly? There was an experimental treatment available when you were born, Dr. Matthews interrupted. A treatment that required a significant investment, but could have potentially cured your condition permanently. Why are we just hearing about this now? Asked Peter, the only male among the quintuplets. His voice was controlled, but the muscle twitching in his jaw betrayed his anger. Because someone made sure the treatment was never offered to your mother, Dr. Matthews replied. Someone who stood to gain from your continued illness. The room fell silent. Only the mechanical hum of the hospital's ventilation system filled the space as 5 identical expressions processed this revelation. Each of you has undergone dozens of blood transfusions, bone marrow biopsies, and treatments over the years, Dr. Matthews continued. Each procedure, each medication, each hospital stay, they all generate revenue. 5 patients with the same rare condition represents millions in billing over a lifetime. Yara, the quietest of the quintuplets, spoke up. Are you saying we were profitable? The doctor nodded grimly. I believe certain individuals at Mercy General saw your condition as an investment opportunity rather than something to cure. Norma, the youngest of the 5, who had remained silent until now, placed her palm flat on the table. What about our mother? Did she abandon us or was that a lie, too? Dr. Matthews hesitated, then reached into her bag and pulled out a weathered envelope. This was in your file, hidden behind documentation no one would typically access. It's addressed to my 5 stars. Sheila took the envelope with shaking hands. The paper felt fragile, like it might disintegrate under her touch, much like the story they'd been told about their past was crumbling before their eyes. Before you open that, Dr. Matthews said, there's something else you should know. I've traced financial transactions from a subsidiary company of this hospital to an offshore account. The first deposit was made the day after your birth. Who received the money? Peter demanded. That's what I'm still trying to determine, the doctor replied. But whoever it was, they've continued receiving payments coinciding with your major treatments and hospitalizations. Joyce's eyes narrowed. So, someone profited from keeping us sick, from keeping us apart. I believe so. And I think the answer to who that someone is might be connected to why I was just removed from my position as head of hematology at this hospital. Dr. Matthews glanced nervously at the door. I shouldn't even be meeting with you, but when I discovered what happened, I couldn't stay silent. Sheila carefully opened the envelope, revealing a handwritten letter that all 5 siblings leaned in to read simultaneously. My 5 beautiful stars, if you're reading this, I failed to come back for you. They told me you wouldn't survive without specialized care I couldn't afford. They said surrendering you was the only way to save your lives. Please know I never wanted to leave you. They promised me you would stay together. They promised me you would receive the treatment you needed. I've enclosed the only thing of value I have. My grandmother's wedding ring. Sell it if you must to find me. My name is. The letter ended abruptly as if it had been interrupted. There was no ring enclosed. Someone took the ring, Norma whispered. And prevented our mother from finishing her letter, added Yara. Dr. Matthews looked gravely at the 5 siblings. There's more. Your blood work from last month shows anomalies that shouldn't be possible with your condition. I think a sharp knock interrupted her. The hospital's security director stood in the doorway, his expression stern. Dr. Matthews, you need to come with me immediately. Your hospital access has been revoked. He glanced at the quintuplets. This meeting is over. As 2 security guards flanked the doctor, she managed to slip a small USB drive across the table to Sheila, who quickly pocketed it. Fine to Joyce Carter, Dr. Matthews called out as she was escorted from the room. She was the nurse on duty the night you were born. The door closed behind them, leaving the 5 siblings alone with the unfinished letter and a flash drive containing secrets that powerful people at Mercy General Hospital had kept hidden for 26 years. Sheila looked at her siblings, determination hardening her features. We need to find this nurse, and we need to find out who's been profiting from our illness. And our mother, Joyce added softly. We need to find our mother. None of them noticed the small red light blinking in the ceiling corner. The security camera that had just captured their entire conversation, streaming it directly to an office on the top floor of Mercy General, where a figure watched with growing concern as 26 years of careful planning began to unravel. The 5 siblings huddled around Peter's laptop in Sheila's small apartment later that evening. Rain pelted against the windows, matching the turbulent emotions in the room. The USB drive Dr. Matthews had slipped to them contained medical records, financial documents, and a video file dated the day of their birth. Should we watch it? Yara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Despite working as an elementary school teacher who projected confidence daily, she often retreated into quietness around her siblings, a defense mechanism from years of foster care. We have to, Peter replied. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. As a financial analyst at a small investment firm, he was the most equipped to understand the spreadsheets they'd found on the drive. But I'm more concerned about these financial statements. There's a pattern of payments from something called Quintex Ventures to 5 separate accounts starting the month we were born. Norma leaned closer. Quintex like quintuplets? That can't be a coincidence. Definitely not, Joyce said, the most aggressive of the 5. She'd channeled her abandonment issues into becoming a tenacious public defender. The amounts increase every year, coinciding with major medical treatments we've received. Someone's been tracking our health expenditures very closely.